Right guys, hello and welcome to something a little bit different. Yes, something a little bit different. Today I thought I'd do a little bit of a mod assembly jobby. The lovely Eddie May from Darwin Mods has sent me one of his Squonk1 kits to do a little buildy video. So we'll go through the first thing. Basically he designed these, it's a little 3D printed mod. Now you can purchase them ready to go, i.e. ready built, currently for £70, or you can buy the kit and have a go yourself. Now there is a caveat. Obviously if you're not quite sure what you're going to do, if you're going to buy the kit, watch plenty of videos on YouTube on how to solder and what have you, and just basic safety stuff. So and this kit is, I believe, the body is £18, and then it's £20 for the bag of parts that comes with it. So what do you get? You get all these bits and pieces here. Obviously, and also you get one of these lovely 3D printed Darwin Mods key rings, which are proper spanky, and you get a couple of stickers as well. You get a nice little card on which way to put the battery in and what have you, to make sure you get it the right way for safety and shizzle. You got your Darwin Mods stickers, a couple of those, and then you've got your body, and then you've got various parts. You've got a squonk bottle, you've got a 5p that's been pressed, so it's got like a nipple on it. You've got your top copper contact, or is it brass? Brass, copper, brass, brassy copper. You've got Fat Daddy 510. You've got 3 different buttons options there, and you can get different buttons from as well. You've got a couple of screws, some banana connectors and what have you. So there we go. So without further ado, we'll get on to the next bit, which is what you're going to need. Well, obviously you're going to need a soldering iron. This one is a fancy damn one, but anything will do as long as it's got a decent enough power. But you don't want to be you don't want one of those 100-watt things, or 50, a 25-watt will probably do you the job. And again, watch some videos on safety and soldering and other such things. You'll need a pair of long nose pliers, not them ones, because they're a bit too thin. Now you will need ones that are quite thin on the edges. So if you look compared to these ones, they're a lot thinner on the edges. The black handled ones will be the ones I'm using. You'll need some wire cutters. You'll need a 2mm Allen key for that one there. And you'll also need a little Phillips screwdriver, which I haven't got on me at the minute, which I will get now. Where is it? Where did I put it? I just had it a minute ago. It's here. I've got it here. There we go. There we are. I'll use the Coil Master one. Coil Master one will suffice and do lovely jubbly. Yeah. Phillips screwdriver, a little long Phillips screwdriver. Jobs are good. So we're all sorted for ease and whiz, as they say back in the 90s and the 80s. So they say. So let's get on with it. Right, so I haven't built one of these before, so it's a learning curve for me as well. So I'm just going to go. I'm not even looking. There is some. I haven't even bothered asking for any pointers or anything. I'm just going to go straight in, balls deep, and go for it. From my understanding of what the parts look, and if I can build it, anyone can build it. So yeah, you got your body as your 2 halves. Obviously, that's the top, and that's the bottom. So I suppose we better start off with the bottom first. Oh, the other thing we will find very, very useful is one of these bad boys. So let's move all these bits and pieces to one side here, so they don't go walkies. Now this little bit here is very important. You see this little blue tit here? Very important. That's an insulator. Not necessarily needed, but safety first is always a good thing. So move them out of the way. So what we've got to do is we have got to get a piece of wire soldered onto this 5p piece. So that's what we're going to do first. So turn my soldering iron on to start off with. And what we want to do is we want to get it as flat as we can against the side. Let's try and get it so you can see a bit better. Is that side on? Yeah, side on, there we go. Side on. And obviously you want it to go through. And here's your bit of wire. So what you want to do is sort of like that. Job done. On the end of there. So it's one of them. Because I'm a bit anal with these things, I'm going to have it on the Queen's head. So we're going to have it going on the Queen's head like. There we go. So first things first, what we want to do is we want to take a bit of wire off the end and snip it clean. take a little tiny bit of wire off, because we don't need a lot, because obviously we don't want to make it too long, because if we make it too long it's not going to solder. We'll see if it'll solder first. We may need to rub that back, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So let's see if that soldering iron's up to temp yet, which it should be. I've got a little bit of flux over here, so I'm just going to dip it in the flux. I'm using a good quality solder here. It's actually off eBay. Actually, it was quite cheap. But this solder is basically 60-40 solder. Hang on, let me just move my screen over so I can see what's going on, because I'm looking at the wrong side here. There we go. There we are, screen. There we are. See what I'm doing now. Well, you guys can see what I'm doing more than anything else. So we'll just give that a little bit of a tin on there. We'll give that a little bit of a tin just there, like that. Come on, take it, you bastard. There we are. A bit of solder on that. There we are. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. See if I can get with the light a bit better for you guys. Let's have a look. See if we can get the light a bit better. It's gone a bit dark and murky now. Let's get a bit more, a bit brighter, isn't it? That's a bit better for you. Right, so there we go. So what we're going to do now is we'll just dip a, it's going to make a right mess, this, isn't it? Just put a bit of solder on the end there. There we are. Just put a bit of stuff on the end of there. Right, so let's see if we can get this to solder, shall we? It might just solder straight on. We might be lucky. We might have to get the grinder out and give it a bit of a. Might have to. Oh no, is it taking? Is it taking? No, I'm going to have to clean that up. I am going to have to rub that back. Let me get a file and just give that a little bit of a file on the edge. File on the go. Sorry about the noise in the background. Someone's decided to do some DIY in gardening, so I can't hear anything, I'm afraid. Right, not a bloody file. I am well prepared. 2 seconds and I shall be back. Right, file has been located. File has been located. Right, let's just get a pair of pliers and just hold that a minute, because that's going to be warm. Yeah, it's still quite warm. So we'll just give that a little bit of a scratch off camera there, just to make sure it's got a, because it needs a bit of a, sometimes you have to scratch things up a bit to get the solder to take, you know, just give it a little bit of a notch on the end. There we go, that should be better now. Should be a bit better. Should be able to get that on there now. There we are. There we go. That's better. Just give it a little bit of a rub. So we'll get a bit of solder on there now. Oh, what's happened now? Why has that gone now? Like that. What's happened? I've knocked something, I think. Oh, for God's sake, I had it all perfect then. Oh, I know what's happened. It's the white balance has gone out of whack. That's what's happened. All these bits of crapper fell down off my cabinet. Always the bloody way, isn't it? Right, so let's get a bit of solder on there now. That should now take solder. There we go, see, nice blob of solder on there, look, see? Nicely, nicely. Now, the other thing to think about is, obviously this mod is made out of plastic, so we don't want to get anything too hot anywhere near the plastic, because you are going to end up with melty stuff, aren't you? You know? Turn that round a bit, because it'll make life easier for me. Put a little bit more solder on there. And get that to stick on there. Nicely, 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 nicely. A bit more solder on there maybe, just to make sure, because I'm a fussy bastard. There we are. Now that should be a lovely connection on there. I've got the autofocus on. If I've got the autofocus on, what I shall do is autofocus on. Let's have a look. Webcam control. Autofocus isn't on. So what I can do is take that off. And if I put that like that, there you go. You can see what I've done there. Look, see? So it's got a nice connection on there. There you are. You can see a bit better now. So bring that back on there. So that can come off there for a minute. Get that little bit of excess solder off there for a minute. There we go. That should have a really good connection on there. It looks like it has. We'll try it with a pair of pliers, shall we? Right, this is the point where it falls off and it makes a right mess, isn't it? Give it a yank. Make sure you've got a good connection on there, which we have. There we go. So we'll let that cool down a minute, because then we've got to work out how much wire we need to get to the next bit, which is the fiddly bit. To be honest, the bottom bit is this looks like the easiest bit. What I should have done was have a little tub of water to put things in just to cool things down. But hey ho, such is life. So that will sit, hopefully, in there. Or we may have to do a bit of oh no, perfect. Look at that. Straight down there, look, see? Straight down in the bottom, job done. Right, now we've got to work out which one goes in there. Now, which one goes in there, do we ask? One of these looks like it's threaded. So which one has got threaded in it? Is that the threaded one? Because the threaded one's the top one. That's threaded. Is that one threaded? No, that one isn't threaded. So that one obviously goes in there, doesn't it? Yes, it does. How far does it go? I presume we've got to go flush with this. So what we need to do is work out where that sits in relation to everything else. See? Well, let's lock the focus out and you can see what's going on. It's on autofocus, isn't it? So there we go. Right, so we need to get this to sit. Let's get rid of those again for a minute. We'll need them again in a minute, but for now we're okay. We're all singing on squirrels. Right. So what we're going to do, what are we going to do, what are we going to do? We are going to cut that flush in a minute. That's what we'll do. We'll cut that flush. Like so. We'll put that to one side because we'll need that again in a bit. So we've got that like that. Let's get this focus a bit better, shall we? Just want to get the focus right so you guys can see properly. And if you want, I can zoom in maybe. Maybe if we zoom in a little bit, you can see what's going on. See there? There you go. So what we want to do is strip that back, and then we might have to cut a bit more off. So we'll go back up again. 3 it was, wasn't it? There we go. Right, so we'll pop that back out again. And we're going to measure how depth that is that far. So 2 or 3 mil that looks like. 2 or 3 mil. So if we just strip that back like so. Now the problem you've got with this is when it's in the slot there, that needs a little bit more off that still. A little bit more off there needs coming. Or we can push it down maybe. Can we push it down? No, can't push it down. Just need to take another mil off there. So I want it to sit right and look tidy, because we want it to look nice and neat, don't we, boys and girls? We want it to look nice and neat. So there we go. So that goes down here like so. Very nice and neat. There we go. Now obviously the hole in the end of ear is not that long, so what we need to do now is work out roughly where that's going to sit. Because we know we're going to have to take another couple of mil off the end of that. So what I will do first is I shall put some solder on that first, because it's easier to cut the wire when it's been soldered. Well, tinned even. Let's use the correct term, shall we? Let's call it tinned. Tinned for the wind. Tin for the wind. Right, so let us get that on there. Give this a little tin. Doobie-doobie-doo, doobie-doobie-doo, doobie-doobie-doo. There we go. Don't need all that excess solder on there, but that will help toward when we come towards the next bit. Got a little flick in my little pot. There we go. Little flick in the pot. So we're going to cut a little bit off that. So what we're going to do, we cut a little bit more off that. So what we're going to do to cut it off, bearing in mind this is rather hot on the old fingers, so we'll just nip that much off. That should do it. And then this bit should just sit in there like that. Now what we want is we want a good quality connection in there. So the next thing is we need to get our little happy friend, these little clamps here, and we need to get some solder in there. Now this is the way I do it, everybody's different, but this is the way I do it. I always use the solder to tin it. You can put a little bit of flux on there just to help matters. Just drop the flux in there, it'll help it flow a little bit. Got some liquid cheapo flux that mate gave me. Right, that is now, there's a bit of solder in there. Now we don't want any solder going on the outside, otherwise it's going to cause issues when we're trying to get it to go in there, yeah? So what the next fucking thing is, we need to get this, Bearing in mind we're going to have to hold it with a pair of pliers for a minute, because otherwise we're going to make a right mess. So we want to get a good blob of solder in there, and we want to go, we want to try and get it as central as we can. You can feed the solder through the hole in the side, which is helpful. There's a little hole in the side where you can feed solder in. Actually might go again with that, make sure there's plenty of solder in there. We want a good solid connection. Put loads of solder in there then, bugger it. There we go, plenty of solder in there now. So what we'll do, we might need to grind it afterwards, well not grind it, but a little bit of filing around the edges. So, I've got plenty of solder in the hole. Now I've got about a mil on the edge of that. Come on out you. About there I reckon. Should be right. See how easy that went in there then? It's like bosh, done. Bosh, done. So what you end up with is that. How neat's that? Might have put it a bit too far down, but we shall see in a minute. So as I was saying before, watch out for the old solder, and we want to get that nice and straight and make sure there's, are we going to have to file that? I might have to file that bit there. Where's my file? Just give this a quick file to clean that edge up. A little bit of rogue solder there. And all this will nicely friction fit in. See how easy that was? I mean, I do make it look easy because I solder every day basically. And then that should just slop in there like Silky the Silkworm's leather codpiece, and that should go all the way down to the bottom. But what we need to do now is we just need to get this to sit in there a little bit. Now it is a tight fit, and you could use a little bit of heat on it, but I'm not going to because I'm a fussy bastard. I want to get it in there friction fit, you know. If we can get it to sit in there friction fit, I'll be happy as a pig in shit. If it'll pull down in, yeah, it will pull down a little bit. So if we, what you could do is if you had the tube the right side, you could just give it a little wiggle, like that. There we are. There we go. Look at that. It's going in a treat, that is. So yeah, are we down at the bottom yet? Not quite at the bottom yet, boys and girls, not quite at the bottom. So what we need to try and get that to go down a little bit more. Now you could put a bit of solder on there, but I'm not going to put any heat on it. I'm just going to push it down like that. There we go. Perfect fit, triggered fit. That is not going anywhere. There we go. So that's the bottom connector done. Here we are, nice and straight. Sits in there lovely. Nice and straight. So that's how that sits, like that, see? And we've got our little connector at the bottom there. Negative. Is that all the way in? Pretty much. And that is absolutely spot on. There we go. Don't know if you can see down there, but you've got the coin down at the bottom. That's in there like that. So that's the easy bit. From what it looks like that was the easy bit. So now what we've got to do is we've got to get these bits we've got to get all these bits together now. Now this is where the fun's going to start, I think. This is where the trickiness is going to start. So we've got to do the same thing again, but with a wire different area. So what's going to happen this time is we've got to get this in there. Now what we're going to have to do, I think, is we're going to have to stop the solder making a right mess of everything, we're going to have to put the screw in. But we need a piece of wire on there. But I don't know which end to start off with, whether to start off on this end or that end. So I don't know. So we'll have a look. So let's work it out, shall we? We need a piece of wire to go on here. On the 510. On the positive, not the negative. Well, yeah. Well, not on this piece, but on that piece. Because this piece connects via... It's switched on this piece. So what we do is we're going to have to pull that out of the way a minute. That's going to have to go on there again in a minute. But what we need to do is we need to work out how long we need the wire. So, again, first things first, I'm going to pop this on here. I'm going to put a little bit of solder on there. Again, we'll put a little bit of flux on the old solder, because there is flux in the solder. But we'll just put a little bit of solder on there just to tin it. Now with this, you don't want to hang on very long with the solder on there, because what's going to happen is you're going to melt stuff, which is why I'm blowing it. So again, what we should do is we should just get a little bit of wire. We'll trim the edge of this wire here, little tiny smidge. so you guys can see. So we get a good connection, but we don't want shitloads of wire. Don't want shitloads of wire. So we're just going to have it like that. See? As Tommy Cooper would say, just like that, just like that. Yeah, just like that. So there we go, that's that. So get the old solder out and we'll give this a little bit of a tin. Always tin it. It's always a good idea to tin it. I mean, this has got flux in it, but I like to add a little bit of extra flux. So it just helps matters, and you get a better connection. So we'll just get a little bit more solder on that. There's not quite. I haven't tinned all the way through there. Dunk it in me flux there. To excuse all the splatters. That's all the splatters from the flux. And then we'll just go boom on there. Like. The plan. Start. A bit of extra solder on there maybe. Oh well, take it. It's not taking it, being a git. Would be, wouldn't you, you little bastard? Come on. There we are. Alright, we'll do it that way then. Makes life easier. Which way is the pin facing? Pin is facing that way, so we want the wire to go that way. So I want it to go sit on there. Hopefully I haven't screwed the core up on this. There we go. Because we've got to get the nut on this afterwards as well, which is where the fun's going to start as well. So that's okay. That's fine. That's not damaged it anyway. So there we go. That's what we've got. That's what we've got. There we are. A little bit of wire on there. Job done. Right, now what we've got to do is work out where this is going to sit. So, I'm going to get our copper piece. Now we have to bend this in a minute. Copper, brass, whatever you want to call it. I think it's copper actually, looking at it. This sits on there like that. Now we don't want to tighten this up just yet, but we want to see where we're at from a point of view of how much wire we got. I'm going to have to put a little bend in that. Got a pair of pliers. I'm going to put a little bend in the wire, just to make life easier for getting the wire in and out. Otherwise it's going to be a right freaking nightmare. So there we go, that's that. So you can also see why it's the price it is. It's beautifully designed, like, but you know, you think the time he's got to do each of these manually. Don't know if he's got a few people on the go or whatever, but I presume he's just doing it himself. So that sits in there like that. Obviously we've got to bend this for our switch. This is going to be our switch. So what we've got to do is work out where this is going to sit, which is about there. Now that has got to go on there, and that's going to sit flush in there, isn't it? So we're going to go down about, we just want to cut it just above, got plenty of spare, we're going to cut it just about there. I am. That's where I'm going to cut it there, because I'm going to solder straight onto the side of it basically. I'm going to solder straight onto the side of the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Solder straight on the side of the thing. There we are. Right, so that's our length of wire cut there. Cut that a little bit neater than that. It was a bit awkward doing it where I was doing it. So just trim a bit more off. Ready to solder it on. There we go. What we want to do now is we're going to have to solder that on there, aren't we, somehow. So what we want to do is solder that so it comes on the side. Now we're going to have to put the bolt in there to make sure we have got no possibility of the solder running inside said item. So that's what we'll do. We'll run that in there and we'll put that in our little grippy vicey things. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deliberately put it on the side. So what happens is it goes on the side somewhere around there like that. That's what I'm going to do. Something along them lines. We may have to do this again in a minute if I've got it wrong and cocked it up, but we shall see. We shall see. So we'll give that a little bit of tin in there. Again, dunk a little bit in there so we've got a bit of protection. So we'll tin this. That is nice and successfully tinned. So what we'll do is we'll get a little bit of tinning on the go there as well. Perfectly tin. That's what I love about these sort of like connectors. They tin so nicely, it's unbelievable. So what we'll do is we'll get that on there, and we want it roughly about there. It doesn't matter too much because obviously we can thingamajig it, can't we? Okay. But what we need to do is make sure we haven't got solder inside that thread. Hence why I've done it, because there's a hole on that side and what have you. Yeah. But we've got a good connection there, as you can see. Got autofocus on again. I shall show you closely uppy. If it will focus, there we go. See, got something that looks a bit like that. Okay, something look a bit like that. The fun's going to start shortly because we're going to get that thing on it. Anyway, I'll get the focus on. Come on, focus, you stupid thing. There you go. Got a bit of solder stuck to me. Lovely. But there you go. You can see what we've got to basically start off with, and that also helps from a heat sink point of view. So hopefully there's not too much solder on there. It's going to hinder anything. I think we should be all right, to be honest. So that's got to go in there at some point in a minute. So obviously we're going to have to put all this together now. But first things first, we're going to have to bend this. Oh yes, we are. We have to bend this. Now what you want is you need to bend it up and then at an angle, because you want sort of like, you want it to sit sort of cockeyed. Yeah. So I presume we're going to give it a little bit of a welly that way. That looks about right. And then we're just going to give it a little bit of a welly that way. Just so you've got a little bit of a lifted pan like that sort of thing. See? It's got a little bit of a, might need a bit more on that sort of. Now you don't want to be tweaking with this too much, because then it gets brittle. Okay? We might need to adjust it in a bit, but we shall see. I've just got to get it straight up. There we are, we're straight there. There we go. Because obviously if it gets brittle, it's gonna snap. So you just want something that looks a little bit like that. Obviously we might have to do a bit of tinkering in a minute when we get to the you know, the stage at where we're at with the thing. There we go. Just a little raised handle like that, see? So that's now got to go in there. But the problem is we cannot, I'm going to repeat, we can't just bolt it straight down now, because we've got to faff about now, because we've got to get that bolt in there in a minute. So we've got to try and get that back in its socket. We can put it in roughly in place, he says, hopefully. I may have made this wire a little bit too short because I forgot how to do that bit. But hey ho, it's a learning curve for me as well as you guys. So we'll do it this way then, shall we? We'll take the base plate out. If we can. There we go. We'll take the base out like that. That might be easier to do actually. Might be easier doing it that way, and then just screw that bit in afterwards if it'll turn on its own. Will it turn on its own? Yes it will. Right, so if we just unscrew this piece here then. Unscrew this. Like so. Now what we want is that to sit in that hole like that. That way round, preferably. Now again, this is quite a taut fit. And that goes in there. And that's where this bit comes in. This bit goes in there. Now we need to get that to sit down there, and we'll see how it looks, shall we? Push it flat. Might need a little bit more rage on that with something just to push it down a little bit extra. I think that's pretty much it. So obviously the screw. Now I will stress this is plastic again, so heat and pressure, don't go fucking full retard on it. Do you know what I mean? You got to go a little bit genteel. But we want to put that screw in, and we want to nip it up. So to nip it up, we want to just go like that, don't we? Just give it a little bit of a nip. You want it tight, but you don't want to over tighten it. That needs to go in a bit further maybe. Is that even taking? That needs to go in a little bit further, if it will. Will it go any further? No, it won't. Is that even catching the thread? Oh, we've got problems here, boys and girls. We've got problems. Right, what's going on here? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. See what's going on. Having a close look myself to see what's going on. There we go. There we go. It just needed the... There we go. That's just nipped up and it's now in there. So now, when we put these two halves together, whichever way's which, because obviously I'm not a thing, that goes in there like that. See? Connected! Yay! There we are. How funky donkey's that? There we go. So there we are. That's fitted together nicely. That's a good test fit. Now we've got the fun of trying to get all this connected. So the bottom bit's a piece of piddle, isn't it? This bit is going to get a bit tricky now because we're going to have to try and get all these bits together that aren't together. Which is all the fun of the fair. Right. So I suppose we better get on and put the screw and the nut in there now. Right, we've got a nut and a screw. Now, which way round do these go? Now this is a possibility. If I put them the wrong way round, what's going to happen? The battery's going to stick out too far. Pardon me. Right, so we've got a screw in there, haven't we? So we've got that in there. We've got that in there. Oh, itchy. Da 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 da. Just trying to think now. Which way should we have that? Which way should we have it? I'm going to go with the screw goes on the inside and the nut goes on the outside. So the screw goes up the middle. Again, we don't want to be forceful with this, boys and girls. We do not want to be forceful, we just want it nipped up so we've got a good connection and job done. Put the old wrenches on the top and just give it a little tiny little nip just to make sure it's tightened up, because we don't want it slipping off, but we don't want it... There we go, that'll do. That's all I'm willing to go with. There we go, got a nice little contact in the bottom there, as you can see. Or when I can see, because I've just moved my screen, haven't I? There we go, that's in there. So we've got the nut on the top. So we need to put that little... Remember me telling you about this bad boy, this little sticker here? This little round sticker here? That goes in here, I believe. We'll have to find out which side's the sticky side. One of these sides is the sticky side. There we are. The blue. Apologies about the dog woofing at me. Sorry about that. Right, so got this little sticky pad. That goes on there. In there like so. Just for shits and giggles, and safety first, boys and girls. Safety first. There we go. Safety first. Just make sure that's nice in there, because I'm a bit anal when it comes to these sorts of things. I'm actually really enjoying this. I've never ever made a mechanical mod of any variety. Loads made other mods like PWMs and stuff, but I've never done anything like this. Well, that's definitely interesting. Next question is, how the fuck am I going to get that back in there now? More to the point, I shouldn't have put that on because I need to put the nut on it, don't I? Yes, I fucking do. So, right, yeah, okay, fair enough. Cocked it up. Made a balls up. Made a major balls up. I presume you got to put that in first and the 5... Well, you can't do that, can you? Right, okay, I know what I've done wrong. I know what I've done wrong. Right, back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board. 2 seconds and we shall... I bet Eddie will be watching this, wetting himself. But hey ho, you don't know till you... You have to get the other one out. There's another one in a bag somewhere. Where did I put it? Got another one of those little blue things somewhere. I've got it over there, that's fine. I've got another one, so I can trash this one to get it out. We'll try it a different way, shall we? Right, okay, there we go. That's that. Right. So, we'll start again on this piece. I'm leaving it in because it wouldn't be fair if I took it out, would it? You know? If I took it out, it wouldn't be fair, would it? Right, let's see if we can get that piece out now. I doubt we're going to get this out very easily because it's a bit of a squeeze to get it in there, won't it? Oh, there we go, it's come out. Lovely jubbly. Right, okay, then we'll try a different route then, shall we? We shall try a different route. Right, so, that's loose. Good-o, well done. Right, let's get that in there. Let's get the nut on there loose for a minute. Oh, that's got to go in first. We've got a little black piece that goes in there, which goes that way round. Yep, that way round. put that in so that don't fall out. There is a build guide written by a guy, very nice chap. I forget, the name escapes me, but I'll put the link to it down below. He did for Eddie, but I basically didn't want to read it because I wanted to have a go myself, sort of thing, work it out myself, because that's how I learn how things work. I've always been the same. And that bloody black bit's just fell out of the 510, hasn't it, and gone on the bloody floor. Oh, you annoying little shitbag. Where did that go? Where's my phone for a light? Little black insulator, where did you go? That's it there. Right, there we go. That didn't go far, did it? That's alright. We like it then, things don't go too far away. Right. So, 510 connector is in the hole. Rid of my phone out the way, it's doing nothing. Sitting there. Now, it's always good, I mean, you're going to want a multimeter maybe for this as well. Let's just test fit that as well, see how that looks. See, we need a bit more bend on that because that's permanently connected there. So we'll give that another little bit of a bendy. That's a bit better. There we are, so that's just going to be, yeah, that'd be fine, let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Focus. There we go. Doop, doop, doop. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine and dandy. Right. Now I've got to try and work out how this is going to work now. Got to get all this stuff in here now. Right. Nut. There's my nut. Can't be tightened up just yet because obviously we've got to get it on there. We've got to get all this on there. Now I believe there is a tool for doing this sort of thing, but I'm not. I'm just going to go winging it. I'm winging it. I'm winging it. I'm on a wing and a prayer. Get that piece back in there. Very hard to give you light to see what I'm doing down here, boys and girls. I'm just going to put that piece back in now, like so. And there you go. Right. Came out of that hole. Always the same with these sort of little plastic faffy about bits. They, you know, they're meant to go in there, but they don't want to bloody stay there, do they? I've stayed there to a certain degree now. Right, we'll screw this bit back in then. I presume that's what we do next, is it? Possibly. Oh no, I can do it that way. I can do it that way. I should have left. There's a note for people that are going to build one of these. Should have left it a little bit longer. The wire. If I left it a bit longer, then it'd have been easier to put in there, wouldn't it? Because I've got to put it in that hole now. Back in there again, like so. That's in there. Right. Oh, I see what we can do. Yeah, we can do it like that. Right. So basically, you've got to turn the 510. So we'll use a Houdini flip for this job then. We've got to turn the 510 now to get that centre piece in. So what we'll do is we'll hold that in the middle. Basically the piece that's push that down, there we go, that's in there, that battery connector. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll put the piece that goes in the bottom, we've got to get to a point where we can the core, I should call it, shouldn't I? The core, yeah, we'll call it the core because that's what they're called anyway. The core down there. Hang on, let me see if we can get my phone so you can see down there, so you can see what's going on. There we are. See what's going on, there we go. Yeah, it might be a bit bright, but you get the idea. Can you see? So you got the nut on the outside of the 510, and then you've got the centre core. Now what we've got to do is we've got to try and locate the core in the right spot, and once we've got the core in the right spot, we're going to have to turn the outside of this. Now I could actually use, have I got a dripper that's clean? There is actually an install tool for doing this job, I'm sure there is. But basically you just got to turn that, so we'll use something to turn it, but obviously we can only go so far because we've got the nut on there, haven't we? Yes, we have. So yeah, so we can do that, but also we don't want to tighten the main nut yet till we've got the little safety sticker back on the top again. So this is a bit of a fiddle, this bit, looking at it. let me just get this lined up so I can get the pin roughly where I want it to be, if I can, if it'll let me. If it'll let me even. There must be an easier way to do this, surely. Must be. Must be an easier way. Hang on a minute, let me just try something. Let me just try being a little bit of a cocky twat. Let's see if we can get this to go another way. By pushing it out through the hole. If I pull that out, it should have a little bit of manoeuvement on it. Problem is the wire is quite thick, so getting it to sit where you want it to sit is another thing. This is where the fun starts. Right, okay, here we go. Here we are. There we go. Right. Get in there, you. Trying to get the core without damaging it through that hole. If I can get the core through that hole, I'm laughing. But obviously I want to get it through the hole with the... Ah, there we go. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Right, that's got that on there. Lovely jubbly. See that there now? We've got the core roughly in place. Now we've got to try and get this core to come out where I want it to come out. Not where it wants to come out, but where I want it to come out. There we go. Right, the core is there. We should, with a bit of luck, be able to... That's threading on or not? Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is. There we go. That is the core is threading on nicely there. Thank you very much. Well, that worked. That makes life a lot easier. Yeah, so getting the core up through that was a lot easier. Right, so we need to put that sticker on now. Where's that secondary sticker? Oh no, we don't. We've got to tighten that up first. We have got to tighten that up, so we want to nip that up now, don't we? Now we've got the core on. I can get that to sit right where I can get it. There we go. So we can now nip the nutty bit up like we had problems with before. If it will go. Just got that little bit extra. Go on, in you go. Not quite there. There we go. That was the sound, the squeaky sound of plastic pulling a piece of metal upwards. Is that tight? I think it's tight. I think we're good to go there, boys and girls. I think we're good to go. So we need that little sticky thing. Where did the little sticker go? Did I just have it a minute ago? Where's the new one? There it is. There's the new one. There we go. Get the sticker back in a minute. There we are. There's the sticker there. I hope we're still recording. Yep, recording locally. Lovely jubbly. So I wanted to do this, I did have an idea to do this live on my show, but I thought, no, I better do a video, because otherwise you've got all the other crap in with it, haven't you, you know? So we'll do this now. Get that little sticky in there. Little sticky go in the hole. In there, little sticky. There's the stickies in there. For protection. Because it's always good to be safe. Better to be safe than sorry. So there we go. That's in there, like that. Have we got that centre spigot tight enough yet? I don't know. But we shall find out in a minute. So I should be able to turn. Is that tight? I think so. I think it's tight. Got to get this in here. Now, what I would fucking probably do to get that big nut is just spin it with a little flathead screwdriver or something like that to get it on once it's in, and then once it's on and turning you can get it all the way pretty much to the bottom, see, by just spinning it like so, like so. That's near enough to the point of we're nearly, and I mean nearly tight. Nearly tight there, are we? Not far off it. I just want to make sure that that plastic bit in the middle's tight. I think it is. I think it's all the way down, to be honest. I think it's... is it moving still? Yeah, the core's all the way in, I think. Let me have a look with my little torch again, just to make sure. hard to tell because it's so far down the hole. I could have made the wire a bit longer if I'm honest, if I really wanted to be a fussy bastard. If I made the wire just that little bit longer, it would have been fine. What I'll do is I'll just give it a little nip just to make sure. I don't want to over tighten it, because if you over tighten it, what happens is you end up snapping bits of plastic, you know. No, core's in nice and tight by the looks of it. So it's just a case of nipping that up now. Get that nut a little bit tighter in there. And then we'll get it roughly where we want it to sit nicely. Because we want it to sit nice and neatly over the top of there. We also want that nut to have the flat on the other side, because I'm really anal about things like that. There we go. So we want the flat adjacent to there, look, see? There we go. It's starting to take shape, isn't it, boys and girls? Starting to take shape. Lovely. Lovely bit of kit. Right, so we'll just nip this up now, this big nut on there. Now, you don't want to go full on retard on this, do you know what I mean? You don't want to go full, you just want to nip it. Just want it to, you just want to get it to the point where you, there we go, we're done, we're nipped. We're central, we're tight, we're good, that looks good, that looks funky. So, we are done. But I think we need a button on there. I think I'm going to go with the black one. I think. Now, I don't know whether these need a bit of trimming to get them on, or they just pop on. Oh no. They just snap on like that. Look at that, there we go. Nice little button. Fire button, bum bum bum. Fire button, job done. Ragey, ragey, ragey. Now, we better check continuity and other such stuff. Yeah? So, good. Where's my multimeter? There's my multimeter. Right, we obviously don't want any shorts anywhere whatsoever, do we? Don't want any shorts on anything other than what we're doing. So let's just check to make sure we've got continuity on things that we should have continuity on. Right, so obviously we want continuity to there, which we've got. We want continuity from there to the centre pin, which we've got. We don't want any to the outer, which we haven't. We'll check that's working there. So we'll put that in the Phillips, check that on there, and push the button. Yeah? So, technically, I think we should be all hunky-dory, boys and girls. Yeah, all hunky-dory. Just give that another nip, because I'm not quite sure if that's actually gone all the way in, which it has done, so it's all good. Just give that another little nip up. So I'm just trying not to do it so I can, yeah, that's definitely tight. Just making sure. So there is the finished article. Get rid of that. Continuity's good. So I'll get rid of all this crap out of the way. Get rid of all the crap out of the way that we don't need to be seen on here. We've got a little squonky bottle. Now, I don't know how long the squonky bottle is meant to be. How long that's going to be to there. I think that's far too long. Maybe. I might be wrong. I may be wrong on that. That squidgy's in there. Yeah, that's far too long. So we'll have to cut that down a bit, boys and girls. So to work out that, how are we going to do this? I know roughly that that ends there. So we're going to cut it about there, I'd say. We'll cut it there. Where's my cutter's gone? I've just put the bloody things down, haven't I? If I make this too short, I'm knackered because I ain't got another piece of pipe. I reckon about there. Maybe. Possibly. I might be wrong. Is that too much or not enough? Not quite enough taken off. Not quite enough. Let's take a little tiny bit more off then. Tiniest bit more. It's about that much, I reckon. Just stick that up there like that, as the actress said to the bishop. Actually, I'll pull it out of the bottle a tiny bit as well, because otherwise, if it's too far down, you're not going to get the squonking action, are you? See what's that like now. Little tiniest bit more. Tiniest gnat's tit off there. So you got about, what, ½ inch on there? Something like that? ½ inch or so? Yeah, something like that. About ½ inch. That can go up there. Get in there, you get. Right, hopefully. There we go. Perfect, boys and girls. Squonk, squonk. Squonk, squonk. And there's the finished article. If you give me a second, I shall find an atty to put on it. Oh yes. I shall give an atty to find on it. So I'll pause and I shall be back in a second. So we're back after getting a little atty ready. So we've got the mod that we've made, which is here. Oh yes, there we go. It's all ready to rock and roll. It's filled up with juice. So all we need to do now is whack an atty on it. Now I'm going to stick the one that comes with the little atty that comes with the wrath on it. Got a single Clapton build in that, it's 0.6-ish. So I don't want to go too fucking low. I'm sure the internals are handy because it's built like an absolute Sherman tank. Stick a battery in. Posi up. Go. There we go. I fucking love it, it's a lovely little thing. And there's something nice about putting something together yourself and then, you know, vaping on it. It's fucking lovely, I fucking love it. Some peach tea in there. Could put a slightly lower own build in it, I suppose. But let's not be fussy. Let's be higher endy and go the higher route. So there we go. The Darwin Mods Squonk1 3D printed mod. Isn't that lovely? Put the black button on there, didn't I? But it's a lovely little bit of kit. So yeah, I shall put the link down to the pre-built version as well as the kit. But again, there is a caveat on this. You know, if you don't feel like you're up to it, don't do it. But the main reason for us doing it was so you can see how things are built. And that's what I thought. So I'll see you next time. As usual, all the links will be down below. And I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Ta-da!